Welcome to Come Get Woo Woo. We're your hosts, Becky and Ro, here to hold space for the unseen, the unspoken, and the deeply felt. This is a place for seekers, for those who sense that there's more, for those who hear between the words, feel beyond the room, and know without knowing why.
Together, we'll explore the language of spirit, the clarity of your clairs, and the signs that rise up when you're ready to notice. You're not imagining it, you're remembering it. This is Come Get Woo Woo.
Have you ever noticed how two people can live completely different lives, yet something underneath them feels familiar? Like there's an invisible pattern shaping how they think, how they respond, love, struggle, and move through the world. Those are just some of what BaZi shows us. Not personality as a label, but how energy is structured, how it flows, and where it gets stuck. Hey, woo-woo seekers, welcome back to Come Get Woo-Woo with Becky and Ro. I'm Becky.
And I'm Ro. This is our third and final episode on BaZi, and today we're bringing everything together. In the last episode, we talked about what BaZi is and how charts are built. Now we're moving into the language the chart actually speaks. Today we're exploring the 5 factors, the 10 gods, and the special influences that shape how energy expresses itself through the intelligent star, peach blossom, nobleman, and sky horse. And yes, the animals. These aren't random labels or personality traits. They're patterns of behavior, movement, attraction, support, and momentum that show up again and again in a person's life. This episode is about understanding why certain themes repeat, why some people are driven to move, while others are built to hold, why support shows up easily for some and must be learned by others. And most importantly, how no chart is good or bad, just balanced, imbalanced, or just evolving. So, Becky, now that we built the foundations, do you want to talk about the 10 gods?
Yes, I found this very interesting because I knew nothing about it. So the 10 gods are BaZi classification systems used to describe how each element in your chart relates to your daymaster, which we went over in the last episode. They are not deities. They are relationship roles. Every element in the chart is compared to the daymaster and categorized by whether it supports it, controls it, is controlled by it, and mirrors it. Those relationships form the 10 gods, which describe things like support, pressure, creativity, money, authority, competition, and expression. In simple terms, the 10 gods explain how energy interacts with you, not what happens to you. The 10 gods describe how other energies relate to your daymaster. That's it. No fate assignment, no moral scorecard, just interactional styles. Every god comes with 2 questions. Does this energy support, control, drain, or mirror daymaster? And is it yin or yang relative to the daymaster? We found our gods in the upper right-hand corner in the hour, the month, and the year. The website we were looking at them is fsinmotion.com. So pay attention to where the gods are located in your pillar. Year would represent early life. Month would represent working years. And hour will represent later life. And when we're talking about day, it'll represent what you seek in a spouse or a partnership.
Did you know that the hidden stems also have gods?
No.
Yes, and I didn't realize that until I was doing something, and I was like, oh.
One of the things that we'll be talking about a little bit later, it's almost like it refines the bigger picture. So this is kind of those small little details, which you know me, I love details. So this is just fascinating to me. So, Ro, should we tackle it this way where you take the first 5 and I'll take the second half?
Absolutely. The first one we have is the direct resource God. It's the nurturer. And on your chart, you'll see a DR. So if you have direct resource in your year, you are likely to have had a stable, protected childhood or come from a family that values traditional education. Now, if it's in your month, your career is built on steady knowledge. You are the go-to person for reliable information. Now, day, which would represent what you seek in a spouse. So you seek a partner who is supportive, motherly, or acts as a safe harbor for you. It means your partner's primary drive is to make sure you are nourished, supported, and safe. So if you have direct resources in your hour, in your later years, you will find peace through learning and likely to have lived a very comfortable, supported life. So now I have this in my hour. Yes.
So you've got the comfort coming in your later years. That's nice. That's kind of nice to look forward to.
Yes. Still waiting. So the next one I have is indirect resource or the mystic. And you'll see IR represented on your chart. So if you have it in your year, your family may have unconventional beliefs or a hidden history that sparked your early curiosity. In the month, you were drawn to fringe careers, metaphysics, tech, or specialized research that requires deep intuition. So now I have this in my month.
Nice. Yeah. Sounds like that checks all the boxes, doesn't it?
It does. Check, check, and check.
Definitely.
For your day, you will seek a partner who understands your weird side and shares your interest in the unseen. And then your legacy involves spiritual wisdom or unconventional invention that others didn't see coming. So next one I have is companion, which is the peer. And you might see this represented as an F on your chart. If you have this in your year, you grew up with a strong sense of belonging to a group or a large circle of siblings and cousins. Now, this checks
oh my
your
gosh. Yep. I was just with family today, too.
If you have your companion in your month, you thrive in collaboration, workplaces, or flat hierarchies where everyone is an equal. Your day, you would want a partner who is your best friend, someone exactly like you who walks beside you. In your hour, you will remain socially active in old age, surrounded by friends who share your values.
Very cool.
Yeah. The next I have is Rob Wealth. Is the competitor, and you'll see RW on your chart. In your year, early life taught you how to share, or perhaps you had to fight to be noticed among strong personalities. In your month, you are a master of networking and people skills, often using your charisma to lead or persuade. Now, Becky, you have this in your hour. So you will seek a partner that's independent or competitive, and that you both need to maintain your own separate territory. So he has his house and you have your house.
Okay, I can see that. So with it being in my hour, what does that mean?
So in the hour, you are likely to invest your wealth back into people or community projects in your final years.
I can totally see that.
Yeah.
We've already talked about it.
Yeah. You definitely see that. So the next one we have is Eating God, which is the artist. And you'll see that as EG on the chart. These are some wild names, aren't they?
I was just going to say, in Eating God.
So in the year, you were likely a talented child who enjoyed hobbies, art, or fine things from an early age. If eating God is in your month, your work must allow for creativity and enjoyment. You cannot stay in a job that is soul crushing. So, depending on where you are in your life, you will look for a partner who appreciates the good life, food, travel, and sensual pleasures.
Mm.
And in the hour, your children may be very artistic, and your retirement will be spent pursuing your passions.
Very interesting.
I like that one.
Yeah. I don't have it in my chart, but that's really cool.
A second. You do have it in your chart.
The eating god?
Yes.
I do?
It's part of the hidden stems.
Okay.
So it's in your day pillar and in your year pillar.
Well, I can tell you that in my early life, I enjoyed all sorts of hobbies. I would draw all the time. That's really cool. I'm going to continue on with the herding officer, which is the disruptor. Now it's going to be represented by an HO in your chart. If you have it in your year, you are likely the rebel child who questioned the teacher or the family rules, that sort of thing. If you had it in your month, you excelled in roles that required a voice, performer, law, any job that disrupts the status quo. The type of spouse that you would look at is you need a partner who is smart enough to handle your wit and brave enough to challenge you back. And if you have it in your hour, you will be remembered for the truth that you spoke and the systems that you changed. That's cool. That one's a neat one. Neither one of us have anything like that, right?
Oh, you have it in your hidden stem in your month.
Oh, look at that. Interesting.
Very cool. Yeah.
Interesting. So next we have direct wealth. So this is the builder, and it'll be represented with the letters DW. So if it's found in your year, you'll come from a family that values hard work, tendencies to be frugal, and tangible assets. If you have it in your month, you are the anchor in your company. You build your career through consistency and proven results. And for the spouse that you look for, you're going to value a partner who is practical, financially responsible, and grounded. If you have it in your hour, which is your later years, you will have a very stable and well-managed estate to pass down to the next generation. Very cool.
Mm-hmm.
So next we have indirect wealth. So this is going to be the visionary. It will be represented by the letters IW. If you have this in your hour, your ancestors might have been entrepreneurs, traders, or people who took big risks to move the family forward. Cool. If you have it in your month, you are the deal maker. Your career is defined by spotting trends and taking calculated leaps. So the type of spouse that you're looking for, and apparently I am, you were attracted to partners who are adventurous, wealthy, and have a wild streak. Oh, that could be fun. If it's in your hour later on in life, is going to be defined by passive income or investments that continue to grow on their own. And of course, we just talked about this. I have this in my hour. Interesting. Well, that's kind of fun.
Yeah.
So the next we have direct officer. So this is going to be your leader, and it's going to be represented by the DO on your chart. If you have this in your year, you likely took on adult responsibilities early and were the perfect or leader in the school. Who was the teacher's pet? They probably have this in their year pillar. If you have it in your month, you are born for management. People naturally trust you to uphold the rules and keep order. Oh, look at that. I have it in my month. Yeah, I'm a rule follower. I always attributed it also to my Virgo rising. So this is just another aspect. So that's kind of cool that they coincide. So, the type of partner I am looking for in my, it would be my working years, right?
Right.
So, I want a partner with a good reputation, someone who is respected by society and follows through. Yeah. We'll just go on from that.
Yeah.
So next we have the hour. So this would be obviously your later years. So your legacy is going to be one of honor. You will be remembered for your integrity and the systems that you maintained. Okay, so the last and final one we have is 7 killings. So this is the warrior. It's represented by a 7 and a K. So if you have this in your year, which Ro does, early on in life was likely intense and pressured, forcing you to develop thick skin and courage very fast. Would you say that was true?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, there you go. If you have this in your month, you thrive in high-stake careers like emergency rooms, crisis management, or starting businesses from nothing. Your relationships may be intense or transformative. Your partner helps you grow through challenges. Would you say that was true? We'll just pass on that one.
Yeah.
So if you have this in your hour, in your later years, you're the wise elder who has survived the battles and has the scars to prove it. This was so interesting, Ro. So very interesting. But let me just I'm going to take a little minute here, and I'm going to tell you what the 10 gods are not. They are not good or bad. They are not guarantees, and they do not override free will. I think that statement is very, very important. But what
Absolutely.
Yeah. Because, with Western astrology, we talk about that too, where it can be set up for you, but ultimately you have free will. So they describe how energy behaves when it meets you. So now that we've kind of gone over that, we do have a little bit more, and we talked about the 5 factors. So Ro, do you want to go over the 5 factors and tell us what they are?
I would love to.
Perfect.
So the 5 factors are the percentage breakdown of how energy expresses through the 10 gods. They show where energy is concentrated, where it's lacking, and how a chart naturally behaves under pressure. This is about balance, not judgment. The factors tell you what part of your life is active. The element tells you how it plays out. Balanced is about 20 to 30%. Very low is 10% and under, and very high is 40% and higher. The percentages don't judge you. They show where your energy naturally goes. High numbers show comfort zones. Low numbers show skills you may need to build consciously. In your chart, you'll see 5 factors, and then you'll see the 5 factors with the percentage.
That's where we find my 2% water, right?
Yes.
Got it.
And it also has the elements, what the factor is, and first is percentage, the 5 factors, and then the elements. So the first one we're going to go over is resource. So resource is an input and a nourishment. It shows how you learn, rest, recover, and feel supported. Balanced resources allow steady growth. Too much leans into overthinking or waiting, and too little leads to burnout or refusing help. So resource is the element that produces you. So if you're a wood master, you produce fire. Fire produces earth. Earth produces metal. Metal produces water. And water produces wood. My day master is metal. So my resource is earth. And Becky, your day master is wood. So your resource is water. So we have the element flavors. So wood is learning through growth and curiosity. Fire is learning through inspiration and meaning. Earth is learning through repetition and integration. Now, I have a 47% resource of Earth, so this is very high. Metal is learning through structure and tradition, and water is learning through intuition and reflection. This is where your 2% water comes in.
I need to grow that number.
We both have very little water, so
Yeah, I think at least I have some. I don't think you have any, do you?
None. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, Ro. So what does that percentages mean for each of us?
Okay.
Can you break that down?
Yep. So my 47% is like a massive mountain feeding my metal. And your 2% is like a mist feeding your wood. So your chart is not built to receive or rely on resource energy by default. You typically rely on yourself and not any resources.
I'm feeling a little called out right now.
No, not at all. You're relying on you. So next we have is companion. Companion is self-energy and identity. It reflects on confidence, independence, and how you relate to equals. Balanced companion supports healthy boundaries. Too much becomes stubborn or competitive. Too little turns into self-doubt or people-pleasing. So it's what matches you is you. So if your day master is wood will be your element flavor, just like metal for me would be metal. So wood, your identity is through growth and direction. Now you have 40% here. For fire, your identity is through presence and recognition. Earth identity is through reliability and support. Metal's identity is through principles and boundary. I have 18% here. And water identity through adaptability and insight. So with 40% companion, Becky, you're strongly peer-oriented. You thrive through collaboration and shared experiences and being in it with others. And too much isolation or hierarchy can drain you fast.
I can totally relate to that.
So do you want to do the last three?
Before we do that, what is your 18%? So you've got an almost nice balance, right?
Yes.
Of principles versus boundaries.
Yes.
So next we have output. Output is expression and creation. It governs communication, creativity, teaching, and visibility. Balanced output lets ideas flow. So too much scatters energy, and too little keeps insight locked inside. So what it means is basically what I produce. So obviously fire produces earth, earth, metal, metal, water, water, wood, right? So if you have wood, it's teaching you and guiding you growth. If you have strong output of fire, you're speaking, performing, and inspiring. So just to let you guys know, I have 13% in fire. And then if you have earth, you have writing, counseling, and stabilizing. Metal produces clear, precise communication. And water is storytelling and symbolic expression. And I'm sorry to say, Ro produces 0% water.
Yes. None.
So then this is where it comes into play is too little keeps that insight locked inside. So Ro has too much input and information, which is that earth energy. And that takes massive internal effort to push through the soil and express herself. She rarely gives answers until she's 1,000% certain that she's right. So true.
Mm-hmm.
How many times has Nancy had to, Ro, I know you've got something. What do you have, Ro? Many times over. So next we have wealth. And wealth is management and materialization. It covers money, productivity, planning, and execution. Well-balanced worth creates stability. Too much becomes control-driven, and too little avoids practical matters. So it controls earth. Earth controls water. Water controls fire. Fire controls metal. Metal controls wood. So the element flavor is going to be wood is long-term growth and investments. And Ro has 13% in this category. So that's really good. And fire is risk-taking and entrepreneurship. Earth is going to be stability and steady income. And I didn't know it, but I have 32% in this category.
That's pretty good.
Yeah, which is good for both of us. So if you have metal in this category, this is going to represent systems, finances, and organization. And if water is going to be flow-based income and adaptability. So the last one that we have is influence. So influence is structure and pressure. It shows how you handle rules, responsibilities, and authority. Balanced influence provides direction. So too much feels restrictive and too little creates inconsistency and avoidance. So what controls me? Earth controls wood, controls earth, earth controls water, water controls fire, fire controls metal, and metal controls wood. All right. So for this category, wood is going to represent guidance and mentorship. Fire is going to be representing authority through visibility and reputation. Now, Ro, you actually have 22% in influence. So that's like a nice, it's like the chef's kiss about, that percentage. Yeah. Earth is about responsibility and caretaking. Metal is discipline, rules, law. Now, I have about 8% in this, so not really high. So I tend to have, avoidant tactics. It happens. Water is going to be about strategy and subtle pressure. So that's really, really very interesting.
Yeah. So the 22%, that shows like a strong relationship with pressure and discipline and authority. So I respond to challenge, take responsibility seriously, and often grow faster when someone expects more of me.
I can definitely agree with that one. You do. Sometimes you take on too much responsibility.
I can't help it sometimes.
I know. It's just in your nature to just, okay, if I'm already doing this, I might as well do this.
Right.
I get you. I understand you. I understand you more. The more we go over all these things, I understand you more and more. It's like crazy.
It's amazing how it fits.
I know.
I didn't think it would fit, but it fits.
Like, I love Western astrology. I think this goes into more detail for the average person. I think it's easier to understand than Western astrology is.
I think so too.
Once you understand like what the pillars are and how to read it, see, astrology, there are so many different aspects that are going around and around where this is kind of fixed a little bit.
It is. And I think there's more to it that we're not going over. Like they have luck pillars and all of that.
Well, even feng shui, that's another aspect of it. And maybe we'll get to it someday, but yeah.
Yeah. But this generally, I think it's easier than Western astrology as well, like you said. So with your 8%, authority and pressure are lighter themes for you. you tend to resist rigid control and you prefer autonomy, and you do better when guidance feels collaborative rather than imposed.
You know this is true. Give me choices. I don't like to be controlled.
So now that we've talked about resources as your internal nourishment, now we move to the stars, which describe how that nourishment expresses itself in the world. Think of resources as what you're given. The stars show where those gifts actually show up in your life. Now, I'm going to go over the life star, but we're not going to go into detail with it. I'm just going over it because it's there on the chart. The life star is called the Gua number. It comes from Chinese metaphysics and Feng Shui, not directly from BaZi. Since this is more directly through Feng Shui, we'll be skipping what the numbers mean. And in case we have an episode dedicated to Feng Shui later on, we'll include it. So it is used to understand your personal and energetic direction, how you interact with space and environment, and what types of environment feel supportive or draining. It's more about how you move through the world than who you are. Think of it as a environmental compatibility, not a personality. But Becky, do you want to go over the stars that we'll be going over?
Absolutely. So the first one we'll start with is the Nobleman Star, the symbolic indicator of assistance and protection in your chart. It shows the type of energy or people that tend to help you at critical moments. This help can come through mentors, strangers, friends, unexpected opportunities. It doesn't mean life is easy. It means help appears when it's genuinely needed. In standard BaZi systems, so the dragon and the dog are the only two animals that never act as a nobleman in any day master. They are considered gatekeepers, energies that serve other roles. Okay. So then we have the peach blossom, which I love that name. Peach blossom star represents attraction, charm, and visibility. So this can show up as a romantic appeal, social magnetism, popularity, or creative allure. It doesn't automatically mean romance or infidelity, despite pop astrology loving that storyline. Peach blossom is about being noticed and desired in any form. So the official peach blossom animals are the rat, the rabbit, the horse, and the rooster. Those are all fixed animals. But in some charts, metaphysicians or software loosely assign peach blossom energy to other animals like dragon to show potential romantic, social, or charm influences. It is not the official peach blossom if it's more like bonus peach energy or secondary attraction energy. So then we have the sky horse, and this represents movement, travel, and sudden change. It points to times in life when energy accelerates, when relocation, career shifts, and rapid development occur, and when life feels restless or fast moving. Skyhorse energy is about motion, not chaos. Officially, Skyhorse only shows up with rat, horse, dog, and pig. But some charts and apps or guides will give the energy to other animals as a hint of that change or travel could still show up. Think of this as a Skyhorse vibe, not literal ride. So, lastly, we have the intelligence star, and they highlight how a person processes information and learns. It reflects mental style rather than intelligent level. Some charts learn through logic, others through intuition, experience, and pattern recognition. So the stars give us the roles. The animals give us the role personalities. This is where BaZi stops being abstract and starts feeling lived in. For each animal, we're going to look at how the intelligence, the peach blossom, nobleman, and the skyhorse themes show up. Same stars, different personalities. Ro, do you want to go ahead and start us off with the rat?
Will do. So the rat, as an intelligence star, is the master planner. The rat carries pure water energy, which means mental depth, memory, and adaptability. This intelligence is about survival, foresight, and pattern recognition. So the experience would be you don't just solve problems, you anticipate them. You read between the lines, you notice shifts before others do, and instinctively know where to position yourself. This shows up as talent and strategy, research, psychology, business, or anything that rewards foresight over brute force. So as the peach blossom, the rat is the clever charmer. The rat is a traditional peach blossom animal, but its magnetism is playful rather than flashy. This is attraction through wit, responsiveness, and emotional awareness. So the experience here, people are drawn to your mind first. Conversation flows easily. You make others feel interesting, which is an underrated superpower. Your charm works because you listen, adapt, and respond in real time. It's flirtation through engagement, not performance. The rat is never a nobleman. In BaZi, the rat represents the peak of winter and pure water. Its energy is considered too internally focused on its own survival and strategic flow to act as a formal guardian or external savior for a day master. And also, the rat is not a traditional sky horse. As a cardinal animal, it represents a fixed peak direction. Its movements are not driven by the restless travel energy of a sky horse, but rather than a strategic necessity to flow where opportunity is highest.
Very cool. So next we have the ox. So ox, the nobleman as an ox is the steadfast guardian. So when the ox appears as your nobleman, help comes through reliability, endurance, and someone who shows up and stays. This is protection that doesn't flinch. Now, as it happens that Ro and I both have this as our nobleman along with goat. So that's pretty exciting. So the experience that we would get when things fall apart, someone takes responsibility. You're supported by people who don't panic, don't disappear, and don't need applause. The ox nobleman protects by holding the line until the storm passes. It's slow to help, but it's unshakable. I have to definitely say that I had that in my life.
Me too.
Yeah. So if you have intelligent ox, this is going to be the builder of the mind. So ox, intelligent, is rooted in earth energy. It is practical wisdom, long-term thinking, and the ability to carry weight without complaint. If you have this, the experience might be you understand systems, you know how things are built and how they break over time. You excel at planning, management, craftsmanship, finances, and anything that rewards patience and consistency. You don't rush answers, you trust what holds up. Very interesting. Peach blossom. The ox is not traditionally a peach blossom animal. As a graveyard or a storage animal of the earth element, the energy is too dense, stable, and introverted to radiate outward. Blooming charisma required for the peach blossom star. And the ox is also not a traditional sky horse. It represents the stillness of the late winter. Its energy is about staying power and building deep roots, which is directed opposite of the restless traveling spirit of the sky horse.
Very interesting. The next we have is the tiger. The nobleman tiger is a fearless companion. When the tiger appears as a nobleman, help arrives through courage, bold intervention, and someone willing to stand up when others hesitate. So the experience would be when you're stuck or threatened, someone steps in decisively. This nobleman doesn't whisper support, they act. You're protected by people who confront problems head on, defend you openly, and aren't afraid to challenge authority on your behalf. As an intelligence tiger, it's the instinctive strategist. Tiger intelligence is rooted in yang wood and the start of spring. This is raw initiative and instinctual leadership. So the experience would be when you sense when it's time to move before logic catches up. You're excellent at starting projects, breaking stagnation, and taking calculated risk. Your intelligence shows up as timing, gut instinct, and the courage to act first and refine later. The sky horse tiger is the path breaker. The tiger is a traditional sky horse animal, and this is about movement and liberation. So the experience would be you relocate, reclaim yourself. Moves are often sudden, driven by need for independence or truth. Each new place represents a fresh start, a chance to live more fully and more honestly. You don't follow paths, you cut them. So the tiger is not a traditional peach blossom animal. As a growth star focused on pioneering action, it lacks the specific stationary magnetic bloom energy that characterizes the peach blossom.
Very cool. Okay, so next up we have the rabbit. So the nobleman rabbit is the gentle advocate. The rabbit, as a nobleman, doesn't arrive loudly or dramatically. This is the help that appears through kindness, timing, and subtle alignments. So you might experience when you need help, someone speaks up for you behind the scenes. You're defended in rooms that you've never entered. The rabbit nobleman protects by smoothing rough edges and preventing conflict before it even reaches you. Now, if you have an intelligence rabbit, this is going to be the emotional strategist. The rabbit governs refined wood energy, meaning growth through awareness rather than force. The experience you might have, you don't need to overpower the problem. You sense where tension lives and dissolve it. You're naturally skilled in counseling, diplomacy, writing, or any role where reading the room matters more than proving a point. I think we need more people like that.
Yep.
The peach blossom rabbit, and this is going to be the classic charmer. The rabbit is a traditional peach blossom animal, and its charm is never aggressive. And as it happens, you and I both have this.
Mm-hmm.
Very nice. So what we can experience, people are drawn to your voice, your timing, and your presence. It's not about looks alone. It's about how you make people feel seen. This is the kind of magnetism that lasts, not a spark that burns out fast. I like that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, me too.
Yeah. So next we have the sky horse, which rabbit is not a traditional sky horse. As the peak of spring, which is the cardinal wood, this energy is meant to expand outward from the center point, and it represents the home and stability rather than the movement and travel of the sky horse.
See, it's good that we have rabbit.
It is.
Since our voices are on the air.
I agree. I think this is a very good thing. It was meant to be.
Yep. So the next I have is dragon. So the intelligence dragon is the strategic architect. Dragon marks the transition point between seasons, storing and redistributing energy. its intelligence is complex and layered. So the experience would be you don't think in straight lines. You see long-term consequences, patterns over time, and how present choices ripple forward. You're skilled at planning, management, and holding multiple perspectives at once. Your mind works like a blueprint, not a checklist. Wow.
Very interesting.
Yeah. So dragon is never a traditional nobleman. In BaZi, the dragon is one of the heavenly gatekeepers. Its energy is considered too majestic and powerful to act as a personal assistant or a noble helper. It is a force of destiny rather than a person who helps with mundane problems.
Huh, interesting.
Yeah. And dragon is also not a traditional peach blossom. As the graveyard of water, its energy is self-contained and focused on power and storage rather than the social allure and spark of the peach blossom star. And it is also not a traditional sky horse. Movement for the dragon is not about travel for travel's sake. It represents massive fated shifts in life's career and home rather than in light, restless energy of the sky horse.
Very cool. Next, we have the snake, the nobleman snake, which is going to be the silent strategist. So when snake appears as a nobleman, helps arrive through discretion, intelligence, and well-timed advice rather than obvious rescue. So if you have this nobleman, you might experience when you're stuck, someone whispers the right sentence at the right moment. A mentor, advisor, or an insider gives you information that changes everything. Protection comes through knowledge, timing, and knowing when not to act. Nothing flashy, everything's effective. Then we move to intelligence. So if you have an intelligent snake, this is the psychological analyst. Snake governs early fire, but it's internal fire. So that means you're thoughtful, contained, and observant. Oh, look at that. I have it in my intelligence.
You do.
Yeah. If you have this, the experience for this might show up as you naturally read motivations, power dynamics, and emotional undercurrents. You don't rush decisions, you study them. This is an intelligence of psychology, strategy, research, and spiritual insights. You understand why people do what they do, even if they don't understand it themselves.
I could see that. Yeah.
I see a bigger picture than a smaller one.
Mm-hmm.
So that 100%, yeah, I can see that. So next we have the snake as a sky horse. So this is going to be the strategic relocator. So the snake is a traditional sky horse animal. Movement here is calculated, not impulsive. So you might experience you locate or shift directions after long internal consideration. Moves are tied to learning, specialization, gaining strategic advantage. Each change sharpens your position rather than scattering your energy. You move when it benefits your long game. Very interesting.
Mm-hmm.
So we also have the peach blossom. Snake is not traditionally a peach blossom animal. Its fire is hidden and internal. It lacks visible, radiating, showy energy. That's what defines peach blossom charisma.
Oh, I love how all these are playing out.
I know, it's so cool.
Yeah.
I mean, it just breaks things down so much more. And as we're reading and talking, you kind of mentally go through all the people that you know, and you're like, oh, I bet they're this. You know what I mean? So, yeah.
Oh, you're trying to guess who's who?
Correct. Yes. That would be the other thing, is trying to guess who is who.
Or who's your supporter, right?
Yes. Yes. But I definitely see, especially the noble one is the one that I think is the most interesting because there are times as we were reading the ox, there's times I'm like, oh yeah, been there, where,
Mm-hmm.
you get that support um, unexpectedly sometimes. And yeah, just really cool.
I agree. So next we have is the horse. The nobleman horse is the fearless ally. When horse shows up as a nobleman, help comes through action, courage, and someone willing to stand beside you publicly. So the experience would be when you need support, someone steps in fast and loudly. This is the friend that says, I've got you, and means it. Protection arrives through momentum, visibility, and bold intervention rather than quiet strategy. Problems get handled head on. The intelligent horse is the instinctive thinker. Horse governs peak fire energy. Thinking happens in motion, not in stillness. So the experience would be you learn by doing, not by over analyzing. Your intelligence shows up as instinct, quick judgment, and emotional awareness in real time. You read situations instantly and respond with confidence. This is the intelligence of performers, leaders, entrepreneurs, and people who trust their gut. As the peach blossom horse is the magnetic flame. The horse is one of the traditional peach blossom animals and it knows it. So the experience would be people are drawn to your energy before you even speak. Your charisma is physical, energetic, and impossible to ignore. You attract attention easily, sometimes without trying. The lesson here is pacing. Burn too fast and people chase. Burn steadily and they stay.
You wonder how many stars have like a a blossom horse.
Right?
You know,
I was thinking that while I was
were
reading
you?
it. I was like, who could this be?
Yes.
Now, the horse is not a sky horse, you would think, right?
You would think so. Yeah.
But no, as a cardinal animal, it represents the absolute peak of fire, high noon. It radiates intensity from fixed position. It does not wander like the sky horse travel stars.
Very cool. Okay, so now we have the goat, which we've already discussed that Ro and I have a goat also, along with our ox as our nobleman. So this is the quiet sustainer. So when goat appears as your nobleman, help arrives through emotional support, steady patience, and someone who shows up again and again. So the experience that you're going to get with this one is when you're struggling, help doesn't rush in loudly. Someone checks in on you, somebody stays. Protection comes through consistency, reassurance, and being emotionally held while you find your footing. The nobleman doesn't stay for the day. They make sure that you don't fall apart.
Mm.
Again, I can think and name off at least a half a dozen people right now that have done this for me.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Love it.
So next we have intelligence goat. This is the empathetic architect. The goat carries yin earth energy mixed with creativity. Intelligence here is emotional, aesthetic, and structural. So the experience you might have is you might understand how things fit together emotionally. You can sense what people need, what environments need support, and how to create safety without control. This is the intelligence of healers, artists, therapists, designers, and caretakers who build spaces where others can breathe. Very cool. We have peach blossom. Now, the goat is not a traditional peach blossom animal. It is a graveyard of wood, so that earth energy. Its magnetism is inward turning and focused on nurturing rather than outward blooming like the peach blossom. So then we also have the sky horse. The goat is not a traditional sky horse. It represents the grounded, heavy energy of late summer. So It's the sign of settling and harvesting, not restless travel energy of the sky horse.
So the next is the monkey. Now, the nobleman monkey is the strategic rescuer. When monkey appears as a nobleman, help comes through clever people, problem solvers, and unexpected opportunities that require quick thinking. So the experience is when you're stuck, someone shows you a workaround instead of sympathy. A door opens through timing, wit, or connection that just happens to know the right person. This nobleman protects by outsmarting obstacles, not enduring them. The intelligence monkey is the tactical genius. Monkey intelligence is mental agility, pattern recognition, and speed. You grasp systems quickly and see loopholes others miss. You're good at strategy, languages, tech, negotiation, and improvisation. Your mind jumps ahead while others are still explaining the problem. The challenge is staying focused long enough to finish what you start. So the sky horse monkey is the opportunistic mover. The monkey is traditional sky horse animal. Movement follows opportunity. Now, we both have this in our sky horse.
Which I find very interesting. Yeah. We have a lot of the same characters, actually.
We do, except for, I think, one.
Cool. Okay.
So the experience is you relocate for better deals, smarter plays, or a chance to level up fast. Moves can feel sudden, but usually are calculated. You adapt quickly to new environments and thrive where others would feel overwhelmed. Stagnation is your real enemy. The monkey is not a traditional peach blossom animal. Its metal energy is too sharp, utilitarian, and fast moving to hold the soft, attractive blossom energy of the peach blossom. So I really like the sky horse for us for the monkey.
I do. Does that mean you're coming to Minnesota, or am I moving there?
Yeah, it's way too cold in Minnesota. Can we pick a warm place?
Well, we certainly can.
Okay.
We'll have to throw a dart. Maybe we'll meet there.
Yeah, there you go.
All right. Next up, we have the rooster. A rooster nobleman is the truth advocate. When rooster appears as your nobleman, help arrives through clarity, honesty, and someone willing to say what everyone else is avoiding. You might experience when things are getting confusing, someone cuts through the noise and names the truth. You're protected by accuracy. Contexts get clarified. Misunderstandings are corrected before they cost you. Nobleman defends by exposing what's out of alignment. Interesting. Okay. An intelligent rooster is the master refiner. So rooster intelligence is about discernment and precision. And the experience, you might notice what's off immediately. You refine ideas, edit systems, and improve quality wherever you go. You excel in roles that require detail, aesthetics, ethics, and quality control. You don't just see problems, you correct them. The challenge is not becoming overly critical, especially of yourself. So for the peach blossom rooster, this is going to be the polished magnet. The rooster is a traditional peach blossom animal, but its charm is intentional. So the experience people have, people are drawn to confidence, voice, and presentation. You know how to carry yourself. You also attract forms through presence, tone, and impeccable timing. This is magnetism rooted in self-respect and polish, not chaos and excess. So the next is the sky horse. And the rooster is not a traditional sky horse. As the peak of autumn, which is that cardinal metal, represents harvest and gathering, it is meant to be a destination, not to be a traveler.
Wow.
Very cool.
Mm-hmm. The next I have is the dog. So the intelligence dog is the moral strategist. Dog's intelligence isn't about clever tricks, it's about right judgment. So the experience is you instinctively know where the line is and where it's being crossed. You excel in roles that require trust, ethics, advocacy, counseling, or safeguarding others. You see patterns of loyalty and betrayal clearly and can advise others with grounded wisdom. Your strength is discernment. Your challenge is not carrying everyone else's burden as your own. So the dog is never a traditional nobleman. In BaZi, the dog is the heavenly gatekeeper paired with the dragon. Its role is to protect the spiritual and ethical boundaries of the chart. It does not serve as a personal earthly helper star. The dog is also not a traditional peach blossom animal. As the graveyard of fire, its energy is about closing, guarding, and loyalty rather than flowering energy of romantic or social attraction. It is also not a traditional sky horse. Its energy is fixed in earth and the protection of its territory. It moves only to defend or realign its values, not for the sake of adventure.
Now, lastly, we have the pig. So the pig as a nobleman is going to be the intuitive protector. So as a nobleman, the pig isn't just a worker, it's a protector of your soul. You might experience when you are in trouble, you don't get a drill sergeant, you get a wise grandmother or a calm friend who says, let's just sit down and have tea and look at things differently. The protection is gentle but absolute. So if you have an intelligence pig, this is going to be your deep thinker. The pig is the stage of birth for wood, meaning it is full of creative potential. And actually, Ro, you have this.
Of course, it would be the
so
deep thinker.
You're always in the deep thinker. So you might experience, you wouldn't just solve problems, you would see them through. You would have a natural talent for strategy, psychology, understanding the undercurrents of why people do what they do. I can totally see you doing that. So then you have the sky horse pig, which is going to be the global wanderer. So the pig is the traditional sky horse animal. Life is defined in constant flow. So the experience where you might move across oceans or change your entire life perspective overnight. You wouldn't just travel for vacation, you would travel for evolution. You move like water, taking on the shape of whatever new container you land in. I like that. I want to be a sky horse pig.
Bet you never thought you'd ever say that.
I know, right? We have peach blossom. Now, the pig is not a traditional peach blossom animal, although it is a very social sign. Its energy is growth, which is the stage of birth, which is focused on new beginnings and deep strategy to hold the stationary charm of the peach blossom.
Wow.
I learned a lot more about myself and even more about you.
Yeah.
You know, it's another layer of the onion that we keep on pulling back. So it's quite amazing.
It was really fun to do.
Yeah, I agree.
So as we close out today's episode, this has been grounding and revealing. We've taken BaZi all the way from structure into living meaning, not as a personal test, not as a destiny carved in stone, but as a map of how energy actually moves through a life. The 5 factors, the 10 gods, the stars, and the animals don't exist to label you. They exist to explain patterns, why certain themes repeat, why pressure shows up where does, why support feels natural for some and earned for others. Your chart isn't judging you, it's describing the conditions you came in with. Now it's your turn to sit with what you've learned. Notice which factors feel overworked, which ones feel undernourished, where you've been pushing against your own design instead of working with it. BaZi isn't about fixing yourself. It's about understanding how you function so you can stop fighting your own wiring. I just love doing these episodes on BaZi. And I'm kind of sad that this is the end of the third one.
I agree.
Yeah. So, Becky, what are we doing next week?
Well, in next week's episode, we're going to be doing another Messages in Motion. We'll be shifting out of the charts and into real experiences. We'll explore how the signs, symbols move through everyday life, how spirit gets your attention when you're not looking for it, and how meaning shows up in ordinary moments and ordinary words. And here are the 2 words for this week from the Woo Woo Seeker's Journal, A Journey from Your Signs and Symbols, Book 1. Door and envelope. See what rises. See what resonates. You can find the meditations for these words on our YouTube channel at Woo Woo Seekers. All of these words are also available through our newsletter at comegetwoowoo.com, with new meditations releasing the first of every month. If you want to deepen your own journey, explore our meditation series, Sacred Tree and Soul's Garden, also available on our YouTube channel at Woo Woo Seekers. Thank you, everyone.
Thanks for getting woo-woo with us today. If something sparked a memory, a message, or just made you smile, share it with a fellow seeker, because the journey is always better when you can grow together. Be sure to find us on TikTok, Instagram, and YouTube at Woo Woo Seekers so you can like, follow, and subscribe.
You can also follow us by visiting our website, comegetwoowoo.com. We are so much more than just another podcast. We're building a community of seekers just like us. We love hearing from you. If you've got signs, symbols, or stories that you want to share, email us at woowooseekers@gmail.com. Or any questions about today's episode, you can email us at comegetwoowoo@gmail.com.
Until next time, stay curious, stay open, and as always, come get woo-woo with us.